Alright guys, such Kremp again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Big drama going down as always over the last couple of days with Johnny under fire from many pro players about potential cheating GAs being back on the menu. Dashy, Scrappy, Cellium all giving their perspective on what they believe are some players in the league cheating the gentleman's agreement rules to try and gain an advantage, given the fact that his team, if this is true, is so far down in the league. Maybe it's no big deal, but it's been a big conversation as to whether other players in the league, especially if some players are cheating the GAs that the pros have, are potentially getting an unfair competitive advantage, or are the GAs themselves just pretty ridiculous in the first place? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Also just wanted to mention, speaking of GAs, this was, I mean, a few days ago now, the 12th of April I had this clip saved up for, but I thought this was an opportune time to mention it really, that snaking is kind of back on the menu, right? This was Super against OpTic, and you know, we are seeing, like, he hits a little pump, then he hits another little pump, and technically that's, you know, one pump rule. That's probably not going to be fair, but it doesn't really seem like the pros either care or have the ability really to lock this down any longer. It was a big talking point on this map, right? On this actual very hill. You guys remember when Sib popped some pretty egregious snakes on the Lambo heady looking the other way towards the bomb site, and well, he was getting clowned for it, and eventually they got banned from scrims. Ghosty was talking about it, and it was all going on. Shortly after that, then HyDra lays down and stair glitches on, it was Skyline, of course, and was never punished because apparently the other teams didn't come up with a punishment. So far this season, there's been lots of drama about GAs getting broken, but I think that Zuma is correct that we are starting to see players who are bringing a little, you know, a couple of pumps back, bringing some snaking back into play, believing that they can probably get away with it because the GA chat doesn't seem to be really hot on this right now, and while there may be a gentleman's agreement, it doesn't really, like, it doesn't matter if it's not going to be enforced. Snaking is something that can be seen, it can be enforced, you can get the POV of the other player. The other cheating drama we're going to discuss in a second is something which is far more challenging to enforce. Snaking, you know, you kind of can, especially if it's from the POV of a player, although you can only watch as a fan one POV at a time, so you never really fully know if there's more snaking that's happening elsewhere that you can actually otherwise see. But yeah, Zuma says players are starting to realize they can actually just snake and probably get away with it, and well, I think it's slowly getting back there. It's not got to the point yet where the game is unwatchable. I really don't want to go back to Modern Warfare 2 2022 when the snaking was just everywhere. It was so egregious. You couldn't watch those hills on Hotel because the whole teams were just constantly snaking the headies. I thought it was just abysmal as a viewing experience, and I don't want that, right? I think, honestly, what the pros have done, GAing snaking, has been one of the best things the pros have actually done in years, and I want to give them some credit, but the issue is that it seems the gentleman's agreement chat is preoccupied to actually enforce the rules, because right now they are not really doing a great job of that. Obviously, yesterday wasn't a great series of Scrappy's doppelganger, or whatever you want to say. Rex comes into this team, has a rough first series against Thieves. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but, you know, because Thieves versus Ravens is always a bit of a disaster class for them. But still, the run recently has not been fun. I mean, look at these recent performances. They just get 3-0'd every single time, and most of the time they get 3-0'd, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. Some of the hard points they've lost this season have been absolutely shocking, and even Ravens, traditionally good search and destroy, can't save them right now. And of course, they'll play them again at the first round of the major, right? Scrappy says game plan of a Tej part 2. So we'll see if that comes to fruition in a few days' time, of course, when we get to the major. There was some further reaction to some of the other games. Drazah was like, look, just another day against OpTic, and, you know, hashtag CEO and all this. Of course, Dashy, he's played pretty well. Can't take it away from him that he's been the top performer maybe from OpTic so far this year. I think at times you could argue Huke, but right now Dashy's been probably the man delivering the most impressive performances. Wasn't enough yesterday against FaZe. It was pretty damn marginal in the end, and as he says, got some things to work on going into the major, but they're starting in the winners bracket. It certainly could be worse for them. But a couple of clips I want to just share. There was this one from Dashy actually when he was reacting to Exnid's passion in the 1v3 that he clutched against the Boston Breach, and you've got to think that after this series, or after this moment, they probably should have won the series, but of course Falcons did not, and lots to think about for them as to why. But the other series was about this potential cheating drama here back on the menu again. Now, we talk about this to us every so often. Of course, we've mentioned the snaking not long ago about why that's a controversial moment. But single tap to run, single tap to sprint, auto tactical sprint, all of these things have been a big discussion point over the last few years. And, well, we see it in some evidence over the last couple of days with Scrap, with Dashy, with Cellium, all in a call, watching some mates and seeing who they believe are some of the prime culprits of this issue right now.
I actually kind of like this.
This was nuts.
Wait. Oh! Oh! Yo, Exit looks like a demon, bruh.
Go back, look at Purge. Go back, look at Purge.
Look at EG's face. EG's face is comedy, too. Purge, yeah, Purge lost composure.
Or just like, yeah, man.
I kind of tipped that like a regain, though.
That's an insane regain, bro. Like,
That's...
holy fuck.
Bro, oh my god, that was insane. I did not see this, bro. Because we were warming up before our match. Sometimes, yeah. Wait, he just got hit with the longest, look how...
Kinda got shredded.
Wait, Purge actually did get hoed. He got hoed because, like, he hit him twice right here. So, like, every bullet does 26 damage. And then, look, he randomly... So, like, and he knows it's a 4-bullet kill. So then he hits him twice. He's like, he's 2 bullets. Then he hits him right there. So he's thinking, like, he's just absolute. You know what I mean? But, like, he got, like, a fucking wallbang hamburger. But I can't lie. He still got fucking shit. Bro, he got shit on. I can't lie.
Bro, his gun is going instantly up. That is for sure run.
But single tap sprint is like, you just sprint forward from
No, it's different, bro. It's different.
Are you saying Johnny?
Bro, if
yes.
he's walking forward, and sprints once, and a single tap sprint is gonna run. Because, like, all it needs is just to activate the Omni part. You know what I'm saying?
No, Brandon, look at this guy, bro.
Let me see.
This
I'm actually
shit
watching
looks nuts.
Well, I honestly, it's easier to tell whenever he's, like, side canceling around. Then it looks like it's words on like ATS.
Bro.
I don't know. Yeah, his shit is good for moving. But bro, like, how do we?
Bro, that shit looks nuts, bro.
The thing is, like, this is why it's unreadable to run.
Metal said he is running that shit. Metal, so are you though.
No.
And Purge, so are you.
No. Metals is clean, bro. I swear.
I'm actually trolling. I actually don't know.
I thought Metals was running that bitch last year. We investigated this motherfucker's on double tab.
So first of all, let's talk about the background of what exactly is going on here, right? So a couple of years ago, auto tactical sprint was a big point of controversy. It really started, of course, when Warzone first came around, Modern Warfare 2019. I think even Kremp famously used it and eventually got caught using auto tac sprints, but his intention was to prove that it was basically impossible to prove. So this is just what Kremp is like, but I think the Kremp ran auto tactical sprint, which means that you literally just move your left stick forward and you tac sprint. I'm sure you guys have probably played around with it. If you're playing Warzone, it's just something that is used and makes sense. You don't want to kill your thumb, you don't want to kill your left stick. I get it, right, for sure. Now, that was used for some time. It's nowadays with Omni movement, it's probably not actually considered the best thing to use, even though it could confer some advantage. But Kremp was using it back in MW19, other players were using it too, and people kind of thought Kremp might have been using it. I don't know how long he used it for, it wasn't the whole season, but he used it for a stint, I think, just to make the point that it was impossible to really prove. With snaking, it is a bit of a grey area, don't get me wrong, but at least you can see it. Whereas with this, you've got players watching POVs trying to judge the amount of time difference in the movement when he, starts to sprint and when he doesn't. Now, look, maybe you could say the guy is just so cracked that he's not using it and he's just that fast, which, I mean, it's an option. It's the reason why the pros want to GA these movement mechanics, because the argument is that it makes bad players good, right? Because you take someone with not good movement and they've not got fast thumbs like that, and therefore they, can't do what aBeZy can do, for example, or Shotzzy can do, whatever, and therefore it increases the skill gap. I don't know if that really applies. Don't know what you guys think in the comments below on that, but this has been going on now for a couple of years. Now, auto tac sprint in the Omni movement era is not really so relevant, and the pros now for some time have decided that, it should be GAs. they've always talked about double tap to tack sprint being pretty much what they should be using. Now, this season, things have changed around a little bit. It is worth clarifying that the names of the settings in the game are very, very confusing, right? Because you've got single tap to sprint, which, as far as I'm aware, puts you into sprint with a single tap, but like normal sprint, whereas single tap to run, if you're already running, so if you've already got your left stick forward but not pressed yet, a single tap of that will then take you to tactical sprint. So the names of the settings of the game are very confusing, but this is the one really that the pros have GA'd because, well, at least they say that they have, because it means that when you're running, you can just press it once and then you get straight to tactical sprint, and it confers you some degree of an advantage because, you know, it helps you be faster, especially when you're, let's say, behind cover, you're trying to just dash, slide out quickly and take a gunfight. This is the type of moment where it really helps to be able to tack sprint real fast, because then you can slide immediately afterwards. Most other circumstances, it's not massively relevant. Do you think that Scrap, Cell, and Dashy are onto anything? Look, they play a higher level of COD than I do. They watch a higher level of COD than I do. So on some level, I'll respect, you know, if they look at someone's POV and they think that they're using it, you know, you've got to take that with some degree of understanding. But as Dashy says towards the ends, he was convinced last year that Metal was doing it, but maybe it turned out that he wasn't, right? Metal sent a picture of his settings or whatever, they turned up to LAN and they showed that he wasn't using it. And this is not something, by the way, that the CDL care about. The CDL will not enforce this. The CDL do not care. The CDL say on these type of settings you can do whatever the hell you want. But the pros, they think the game plays better in a certain way, and therefore they've made their own rules. But if you can't enforce your own rules, then frankly they do not really exist. And with snaking, there is at least some visual evidence. Whereas with this, I mean, there is visual evidence, but it's the same with Abuzah, right? Scrappy was the key man, really, calling out Abuzah at the start of last season for using auto-tactical sprint. That was the rumor at the time, or at least using a setting similar to this. And Abuzah said that he wasn't using it, but was he? Was he not? I mean, who really knows? It's almost impossible to say, unless you can literally see their settings at all times, but they can be changed within a matter of seconds anyway, and the CDL isn't going to care. The referees aren't checking for this type of stuff. So does it really matter, I guess, is the other point. Equally, Johnny is not on a very good team. He's on Gentlemate at the bottom of the league. They are struggling, probably needs all the help he can get. But this is what happens with GAs. You get one player who breaks a GA, or maybe he doesn't even break a GA, but he plays someone who he thinks has. This is the classic thing that happens here, especially with this, is that you're playing in a scrim, you play against another team and you think, damn, that guy's movement's kind of crazy, he's probably using single tap run, screw it, I guess I'll throw it on too, nobody's gonna know or really care, he's using it anyway. Maybe he wasn't, but you know, because of these reasons, somebody ends up throwing it on at some point, and then the cycle continues, and before you know it, you've got a load of players using this to potentially gain an advantage too. Will the top teams avoid it and just say, look, who cares, we're going to be better regardless? Maybe, but it is certainly a point of controversy right now in the Call of Duty domain. So very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Just to close out with KD leader from each stage, love looking back at this really. Of course, Zinni, I'm sure, loves the fact that this gets tweeted at every stage because he gets to look back at that 1.38 he had in Vanguard stage 2. But you know, most of the top KDs from a stage in the history of COD have been in the 1.25 and above regions. The lowest KD we ever saw over a stint was actually Scrap with a 1.15 at Major, or well, MW3 stage 4 last year. So far this year, Shotzzy led the way in stage 1 with a 1.26. HyDra led the way in stage 2 with a 1.26, and this stage was also led by HyDra with a 1.22. So far this season, Cellium has been great, but he's actually not topped any stage so far in terms of overall KD, and this is surprisingly enough, given the fact that HyDra has been around since Cold War, like HyDra has played in all of these stages, it's the first time that HyDra's actually ever topped the list for now. But, you know, now he's gone back to back. Not like it's, who really cares, right? It's not like, it's a Mickey Mouse championship. But still, it is relevant. And first stage, OpTic with the #1 seed with Shotzzy, and they didn't win the tournament. Obviously, last stage, Thieves were undefeated. They didn't win the tournament. This stage, Thieves not undefeated, but HyDra still the #1 seed. Can they convert this time around? So very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.